please give a warm round of applause to Sven from Rising Insane. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty fine, actually. We have about 30 degrees here in Germany. It's quite warm. I had a really great day, and now I'm really appreciated that you've invited us for this kind of an interview or stream. And I'm really excited, to be honest, because it's the first time for me to be part of this kind of a Twitch stream. I've seen a lot of these things in the past, but I've never been into it like this. And yeah, it's a kind of a new situation for me, but I'm quite optimistic that it will be really fine for me. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, and we will take great care of you over here, my friend.
So.
I also haven't been on Twitch for too crazy long either, and it's just like, I found this like a lot of people did through the lockdown, right, and through like last year's pandemic and everything, and it's just been an incredible community, an incredible place to find new music, meet up with people with like minds, and connect with artists face to face and everything like that. So happy to have you on here and give you your first foray into this digital landscape.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely. So I wanted to talk to you about Afterglow, because the single that just came out from your upcoming album by the same name. Just tell us how the songwriting process for that came together in the grand scheme of the album.
The normal process in songwriting for us is that I'm going to start write some riffs, write some drum beats with my computer. Then I'm going to send these kind of demos to our vocalist. This is Aaron, actually, and he is going to try to get some ideas if the riffs or the things are working for him, and then we are going to push the ball from side to side. So we are actually working on it for quite a long time, and we had especially a really long time because of the pandemic and the whole of the lot of lockdowns that we had here in Germany. So we had quite of a good time to work on our music, and especially on this kind of song. It was actually the first song of the album because it's the first single, but it is also was the first song that was completely done actually for the whole record. And I think it was for us the point where we got into it and had the kind of situation that we said, okay, that's going to be great. I don't want to get to clap on ourselves, but we were pretty optimistic that everything is going quite well, and from this point on, we started to work on new ideas and more songs, more ideas, and put it back to the vocals and got it back to the instrumentals. And that is actually the part how we are working.
That's great. So you said that you had a little bit more time to work on this album than previous ones. Do you think that was a help for you guys, or was that a weird kind of navigation or like a weird path to navigate?
I think for us, in this time it was quite good because we could completely concentrate on making a new record, making new songs, making everything better than it was before, actually, because we had more time to focus on the things that we would like to focus in the past. And I think we've done it pretty well for us, so that we can say that we are really satisfied with the result in the end. I don't know what you or the people are saying about it, but we are really satisfied with it. And all in all, I would say that it was quite good for us because we do not have so much shows to play. We do not have to make any videos. We do not have to organize that much. So we can concentrate on the things that were important for us, and that was the music in that case. So I think that was pretty good for us.
That's great. Our moderator, Mazza, in the chat says the album slaps, bro. So all right, you already got some fans, so there you go.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, man.
Perran, did you have anything before I just go ahead and ramrod and take over this interview, my friend?
Yeah, well, I mean, I said earlier, and I could see Sven laughing at the time when I said it. I heard of you guys literally about an hour ago when I heard this particular chat in the playlist. So we do this quite a lot when we have interviews on the show. It's always like you've literally just heard this band now, come out with just first impressions of what you just heard, which is quite an interesting way to try and do something like an interview, I think. For me, it was again listening to the track, and I guess I know that Germany has a very large, I mean, obviously a very large metal and heavy music culture, but also like, metalcore kind of in its very, kind of modern guise has had a very large kind of profile in Germany for the past couple of decades now at this point. I guess I was just wondering, when I heard this track, it didn't necessarily like scream to me, oh yes, this band has to be German or something like that. Do you kind of have much like the ability? Do you feel like you have to try and work harder to try and maybe kind of get onto the radar of audiences in the US or the UK, for example, than at home in Germany, or is it a very kind of natural process in terms of what you sound like these days?
Actually, it is a really natural process for us because we never aimed
Right.
to get into the focus of the American or market or in the UK market. We just did what we did, and then we were there. And I think it's quite funny because we as a band have the possibility to see our Spotify stats, for example, and in these kind of artist sets, you can see where you are listened the most, and there are three countries that are quite on a high level, and actually it's the United States, it's Germany, and really surprisingly for us especially, it's Russia. And I don't know why we never played there, and we do not have any connection to them, but we are really happy about it because we never thought that if you had explained my 15-year-old me that I will be heard in the United States or in the UK or in Russia or anywhere else, I would have laughed and didn't believe you. So I'm quite happy with the situation, but it's really a natural process. We did not aim for anything in these kind of things. It's something that came just by itself.
Yeah, that's great. I love those stats. Like we've got there's a demo that I'm involved with that's on Spotify, like from like 3 or 4 years ago, and you still very occasionally get like, here's one person in Malaysia. It's like, shout out that person. I don't know how you found my one random demo tape, but like, keep spinning it.
Nice.
That's amazing, Perran. Sven, I'm very curious because this Afterglow is going to be your third album. So I've said on this show and other streams of mine and everything like that I feel like third albums for bands are the ones that they really start to find their identity and start to like really hone their sound. What have you learned about the creative process and yourself, your band, in the amount of albums that you guys have had and getting ready to put out your new one?
I think if you see it within 3 steps, if you see the first, the second, and the third album, you as a musician have a kind of a creative process. In the first record, you are just doing what you think that is great, so you do not really reflect it. You do what you think is heavy. You write some heavy riffs. Anybody is doing some vocals on it, especially it's doing Iron from us, not anybody, but yeah. And on the second album, you begin to reflect it anyhow, but it is not that developed that much. And on the third record, you are going to, or at least us, we are going to recognize what do we want, how do we get it, and what do we need for it. And I think that summarizes pretty well for us how the third album was done, because we had a lot of time and we've discussed a lot, and we had time to discuss about melodies, about riffs, about keys, about tempos, about everything, and that was a thing that we didn't reflect in the first albums that much. So I think it was more reflective in all ways. So that's the thing how we did it, and I think that was a kind of an interesting process, and I hope it will be at least another step forward to the next album.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we have this album, so
I was about to say, like, the new album's not even out yet. Maybe give yourselves just like a little bit of time to like rest on your laurels a little bit.
You just saying the new album is bad. Don't listen to it. Wait till the next one.
No. But after the album is before the album. It's every time the same thing.
Yeah. So, with that being said, what do you think that fans of your music can expect from this album, and what do you think that people who haven't heard your band or being exposed to it for the first time can expect from it?
Oh, that's kind of a hard question, I think, because I've never made any thoughts for myself to it. I think they can expect a lot of heavy stuff, a lot of breakdowns, and a lot of up-tempo songs, but they can also expect a lot of emotional lyrics that are really deep and into kind of a real thing, because we are handling some kind of depressions on the record in the lyrics. It's in Germany we call it PTBS. It's some kind of a post-traumatic syndrome. If you had any situations experienced, like a death or a suicide in the family, or just to scratch it now, and we try to get this into the lyrics and to work with it so that we have kind of a theme on the record. And I think if you have anything that you really need to get maybe some kind of catched up in depressions or something like that, maybe have a deeper look into the lyrics and try to get more into it. It's not only about the music. We try to give our fans something that they can also get with them to deal with, and to help them in bad and also in good situations. So I think that describes it quite good, actually.
Yeah, music from the heart, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I have one final question, but Perran, I wanted to give the opportunity for you, just in case you had anything for there that caught your ear.
No, I mean, like, still kind of processing kind of the first initial bits that I hear, but it sounds again like you were saying, the kind of the range of I definitely pick again on kind of the emotionality that you're talking about with the music, kind of beyond, again, kind of just ultra clean, polished metalcore kind of sound that any number of bands can try and do, but having that extra kind of punch through, like hearing something again like the chorus on this track that kind of has that real lift quality to it. It certainly sounds like that is something that has an awful lot of focus put on it beyond kind of, again, the more kind of bass natures of the music.
Yeah, actually, I think we try to focus as much emotions and heart into these kind of clean vocals and that what we can express, actually. So I think we've done it in a really good manner on that record, and especially on that song. I think there is some kind of a lyric line that I was really impressed by Aaron. Actually, I can just read it to you, because I thought it screamed. So no, I think not everybody is hearing it in detail, but it's actually, I've been sinking down the ocean floor. I found something I have lost before. In the double-faced world down below, we are living in the afterglow. So this, in my opinion, describes it pretty well, what we've done actually here, to that everybody of us is living in a kind of two different worlds, because you have something inside you and you have something outside of you, and you have to deal with both situations in the society and with yourself. And I think this is really good done in the lyrics and also in the music.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. And I think that the previous track that you guys had with it, "Meant to Live," also is like a really good example of that as well, Sven.
I'll have to check that one out.
Thank you.
Yeah. So my final question, it's a little bit of a goofy one, but like not goofy. That's not the right word for it. But like here on this program, we obviously like to give people like new music and like get things that maybe they might not listen to, and definitely have the press play on anything type of mentality. Your band covered "Blinding Lights" by The Weeknd. Pretty awesome cover, if I say so myself.
Thank you.
If you guys could tour with a non-metal band, who do you think it would be? Who would you want it to be, I guess?
If
you guys could
go
on a tour, like a big tour with a non-metal band, who do you think it would be?
Wow, it's a really good question because everybody of us is actually listening to a lot of music that is not metal related. Actually, I'm listening to, for example, to a lot of electro music like Avicii, who has unfortunately passed away. Then our bass player is playing a lot of indie stuff. Wow, that's a really difficult question. I
I mean,
think
you get paid well on the weekend tour.
no, I think some kind of touring with Machine Gun Kelly or Youngblood would be quite interesting. Actually, these are some really interesting music at the moment. I think. Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. Actually.
Fantastic. I'm always a fan of bills that just don't make any sense whatsoever. You know, if there's like a little bit of the Venn diagram that makes sense, all for it. All for it. Sven, it's been fantastic to have you on, my friend. Everybody out in the chat, Afterglow comes out on December 10th via Long Brand Records. So put that in your Spotify libraries, put that in your Apple Music libraries, and give it a listen when it comes out. Sven, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having us. Have a nice day.